Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul, aka Leak Skywalker, and with just 2 episodes left of The Mandalorian, I thought I'd break down the best fan theories that are floating around in a galaxy far, far away. In the latest episode, we watched Boba Fett return, Moff Gideon take Grogu, and Mando put the pieces in place to save his surrogate son from the clutches of the Empire. Judging by the end of episode 6, we can pretty much guess that the next entry will be a prison break to bust Bill Burr out, and that Nick Frost will probably pop up along the way. However, I want to look beyond that and search my feelings to discuss what I think could happen in the finale, as well as some of the best fan theories that I've come across. Before we get into that though, just a reminder that we do videos like this each and every day, so if you're new to the channel then please subscribe. If you're excited for the finale then make sure you stay locked, as we'll be doing an in-depth breakdown right after it drops on Disney+. Anyway, the first thing that we need to discuss is what exactly is going to happen to Mando now that he no longer has the Razor Crest. Whilst he's currently making his way through the galaxy in the cockpit of Slave One with Boba Fett and Fennec Shand, there will come a point where he has to find his own vehicle. Now I actually think that the show might kill Fett off and have Mando inherit Slave One from him. As discussed in the last episode, Fett's father was a foundling as well, and as both Mando and Grogu are too, they do share some sort of kinship even though they aren't related. Temuera Morrison is also getting a bit, and though I don't want to call him Boba Fett, it's unlikely that he can keep appearing as the character for years and years and years. Thus, I think his death and handing over the ship could be somewhat of a passing of the torch, both literally in the show and figuratively as the fans' favourite bounty hunter. We would very much get the idea of the old passing things off to the new, and it would mean that Mando could carry across the iconography of Fett while still doing his own thing. Let's be honest, when The Mandalorian was first announced, many people thought that it was going to be the story of young Boba Fett, so this does line up with something that people want to see. Now Eckhart's Ladder actually posted a pic of what they think Mando's next ship will be, and in case you don't know, this actually comes from the expanded lore and is the one that Fett got after escaping the Sarlacc. If that canon is carried across to this continuity, then Fett would have both, and potentially Mando could be given that one, as Fett will no longer have any use for it. Now as for Grogu, the fact that we know the next episode will be a prison break means they probably won't have the time to also go and rescue him. Therefore, the little lad is going to be spending a lot of time with the Empire and Moff Gideon. Gideon was already throwing stormtroopers his way, and Grogu had no problem throwing them back, so I think that by the time we get back to the character, he may be leaning more towards the dark side. Ahsoka did warn Mando that it was dangerous to train him because of their attachment, and that if they were separated, it could lead to him going down a dark path. She has of course seen this in regards to Anakin, and though his mother died, which meant there was no coming back, Mando is still alive. I actually think that when we see Grogu, it will be a big shock to see how much he has changed in such a short time because of Gideon's influence. Children often suck up everything around them like a sponge, and it's often adults who shape their personalities, so if he has Moff Gideon as a Moff Guardian, then he's probably not going to be the snack snatching fella that we've come to love. You're dead, you mate, you're bloody dead. Now what this leads to is what's going to happen when the pair inevitably become separated down the line. Mando's entire quest seems to be to reunite the character with a Jedi so that he can start his training. However, I don't actually think that this will be the case, and instead I think the Jedi will give Mando some basic inklings on what to do, and that the character will actually take it upon himself to discipline Grogu. He's clearly open to helping his abilities, and whilst all we've seen him do is move the silver ball back and forth, Mando could easily help him build up to bigger things like ships and more. So I do think there's definitely an opportunity to do something big with the character and end the series on a cliffhanger that makes us wonder whether he can be saved or not. Now Mando will of course be pulling him back, but there's also the potential that he'll have help from another character that we haven't seen yet. Grogu has called out to a Jedi, and someone somewhere in the galaxy probably heard him, I'm guessing. So we will likely be seeing a Jedi pop up to perhaps help guide him back from the darkness. Now who this could be is really up in the air at the moment, and a lot of people think that it may be Luke Skywalker. During the time period that the series is set, the character was actually just about to establish his own Jedi Academy, and thus Grogu is at the perfect point to be there when it begins. However, I don't think that it will be Luke for a number of reasons, which I'll talk about right now. Now Grogu has already survived one Jedi purge, and because of this he had to go into hiding. We know from the sequel trilogy that Ben Solo became Kylo Ren at one point during his training, and that he and his knights ransacked the area before turning to the dark side. Therefore, I just can't see them being like, well, he survived Anakin turning into Darth Vader and killing everyone, so now we're going to have him go to a location where Ben Solo turns into Kylo Ren and kills absolutely everybody. It just doesn't seem likely to me, and there's also a number of logistical problems with Luke and Mark Hamill. In order to accomplish the character being the right age, Disney would have to do a lot of de-aging and do a couple of nip-tucks here and there to make sure that the actor is in the same shape. Now, a couple of people have said, well, they did it in The Rise of Skywalker and with Sam Jackson and Captain Marvel, which I get, yeah, but The Rise of Skywalker was about 3 seconds, shot in a pretty dimly lit environment with little movement in the face. Samuel L. Jackson is also a vampire, and even now, he looks like he's barely aged, so personally, I can't see it. I would of course be happy to be proven wrong, but I think the cost of it would be massive, and Disney could quite easily just get any other Jedi in, drop them in the series, and I'm sure interest amongst the fans is still going to be there. You also don't open yourself up to anything like Justice League, where the people doing the CGI fumbled the project a bit and led to a complete monstrosity. Look, I know it wasn't your fault, mate, you did the best with the time you had, but, you know, effects on the face, sometimes it doesn't work. Now, saying that, I think it could definitely be Cal Kestis from Fallen Order. The ball that Grogu sits on is very similar to the ones that you had to move around in that game, and also the text that we saw on it appeared throughout the title. Kyle used to sit down to meditate, and this allowed you to upgrade your abilities, and it was also similar to what we see Grogu doing. The character could have potentially been doing this when Grogu reached out, and thus they may have a connection. Cameron Monaghan is of course already an established actor, so it wouldn't take too much to just move him across. The only issue is that the game series obviously wants to continue doing its own thing, and it might be difficult for them to tie in with the property while still carrying on their own continuity. There is, however, another possibility, and it looks like we already have hints that they could be featuring in the show. That person is Ezra Bridger. Though Ahsoka said she was looking for Admiral Thrawn, if you're a fan of Rebels, then you'll likely know that she is also after Ezra, and therefore it makes sense to have him pop up at some point. Rahul Kohli actually seems like he may be cast as the character, as all the way back in September he dropped a tweet hinting at him getting into shape to basically play Ezra. Star Wars Theory also dropped a video the other day that seemed to hint towards it.
Hey, I was just walking around and I think I bumped into Ezra? Oh.
See you later, mate.
Hey, see you, man.
Now, I probably should have reached out to that guy before making this video, but he's a busy man, but all this stuff means that there's a lot of hype behind not only the character of Ezra, but also Rahul to play him. The actor recently told Inverse that he'd spent more time in his garden twirling a lightsaber than he had acting, and it just makes perfect sense. The show is clearly going down the Clone Wars and Rebels route with Bo-Katan and Ahsoka popping up, so I think if we do get a Jedi dropping in, it will most likely be him. Or, you know, we could get that rumoured Mace Windu spin-off, which I think would absolutely break the internet. Or we could get Sebastian Stan as Luke Skywalker, which, yeah, would be a great thing to happen, but I just don't know how realistic that is. Anyway, those are the main theories, and I do think that Mando will beat them off using the staff whilst he fights back with the Darksaber. As we know, the spear is capable of blocking it, and they just drew so much attention to it in the last 2 episodes that they're clearly pointing out it's going to be important. It's one of the only weapons that can stop the Darksaber, so it makes the most sense to me. Now obviously I'd love to hear your thoughts and theories, so comment below and let me know. If you enjoyed this video, then please drop a thumbs up, and make sure you check out our full breakdown of the latest episode, which is going to be linked at the end. We go over all the ins and outs of the entry, so it's definitely worth checking out if you want to know more. Don't forget we're giving away 3 copies of the Lord of the Rings 4K box set, and all you have to do to be in with a chance of winning is like the video, make sure you subscribe with notifications on, and drop a comment below. The winner is going to be chosen at random on the 30th of December, so make sure you get involved. If you want to support the channel and get to see content early, then please consider clicking the join button below. You can also come chat to us on the Discord server, linked in the description, or at Heavy Spoilers on Twitter. Thanks for making it until the end of the video. You've been the best, I've been Paul, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.